North Central, the exciting time of the year that it is when footy is on in earnest everywhere and it's round three action. We have a special guest tonight who is playing with a side that I rate pretty highly, the Birchip Watcham Bulls. It's none other than the centre half back and champion player Dale Hinkley. Dale, how are you today?
Yeah, good. Thanks, Wayne, and thanks for having me on the show. I've got some a fair-sized boots to fill in Ricky Allen's, but obviously, pretty excited to talk all things North Central footy, and hopefully preview this cracking round of football we've got ahead of us, and review the last one back, which was round 2.
Yeah, it was. Of course, you've had some really, really good career moves yourself. Tell us just briefly before you came back home to the farm at out from Wormelang, really, where you guys are. But tell us just about your career before you come home.
So before returning back to the family farm, probably 3 or 4 years ago now, I was studying down in Melbourne, and was lucky enough to get on the VFL list with Collingwood. So had a bit of a short stint with them while I was studying down there for a couple of seasons, and also was aligned with University Blues Footy Club while I was at Pies. So fell back, play with them quite regularly, sort of half and half both seasons, and then I was obviously come back to the bullpen at Birchip, and quite enjoying the challenge of trying to go one better.
Well, I bet you are, against those Sea Lake Nandali Tigers who have been your nemesis in recent times. But talking about Birchip Watcham, a couple of big recruits. Big Lockie Sirrett comes back from over there at Colbernabon in the Heathcote and District Footy League. I know a bit about Big Lockie. My nephew, Tyler Phillips, is the star ruckman in that league and had a bit of a good duel with the Big Sirrett last year in one of the games. But you've also got a bull that's come from Mundalla that we talked a bit about in Elliot Jeske. So a couple of big recruits in your first ruck.
Yeah, definitely. It was something we really went out and worked really hard over the summer, was to try and get some key position players into the footy club, and the first one was a pretty easy choice to get local boy Lockie Sirrett, Big Fridge, back into the side, and he's obviously a great footballer and influential around the ground as a mobile ruckman, and he's a really great bloke, and he's very well liked around the community. So we're very, very pleased to have him back after his stint back home, which is very understandable with his brother for the season. And the other one that you mentioned was Elliot Jeske. He comes across from southeast South Australia. His connection was a bit of a far-fetched one, but it was through my partner, Holly. Her brother was living with him last year as part of his Mark Oldham program, and they played a bit of football in Western Australia, and then it was his third year to return back to Victoria. So, we had a chat to him, and we're very pleased to have gained another contested midfielder into the side.
Oh, yes, a big-bodied one too, and one that can kick the ball 60 metres and hit somebody lace out up forward. He will be good for your Birchip Watcham Bulls, no doubt about it. And looking at last game, around 16-19 to Bort 6-3. It was a bit of a demolition by 10 goals over at Bort Park.
Yeah, it was. We headed across there. We always like making the trip across through Witcher-Proof and over to Bort Park. It's usually a pretty good surface over there, and there was nothing less this time. The first half sort of was a bit one way, but then Bort found their feet and came back in that last quarter. And some better players for Birchip Watcham were Stephen Pye in his first game for the club after winning the Best and Fairest last year and having missing round 1 due to COVID-19, and we'll probably have a few more of those issues and people coming down with the flu this season. And also better players for Bort would have been
probably Nathan Twigg.
Nathan Twigg, the ruckman. He was quite impressive coming from I think it's Bears Lagoon. They've recruited him to the football club, and Jesse, I think he's first, second.
Yep.
Jesse, I think he's a local boy. Smith, is it?
Yep, that'd be Smithy. Jack Smith, I think, is actually one of the Smith boys, but very interesting to see Castellano on the watch for him with 4 goals. and the Jeski boy, the Bull, got 3 for your side. Having a look at some of the other matches, just your thoughts on Wedderburn. 2014 to Witcherproof, Narraport 9-9. Witchy came off a win against Sonata the week before, but Wedderburn, they look like, as of last year, they were 3 top sides last year and they were right amongst it, and the red and black look like they're going to be there again.
Yeah, the Redbacks have got Sam Barnes as their head coach, which I know he's very well known down there and well respected in such a proud club and with such rich history. So yeah, he'd have their men well and truly clued into their game plan, and they've got a really good young running list of players. Tom Campbell up forward line, and a lot of Lockhart that are floating in and up and coming through their midfield. So I can't recall on too much of that scoreline right at the minute, Flowman, but yeah, I know that they've started off pretty well down there.
Oh, they did. Bename with 5 and Rosengren with 4, and as you mentioned, Campbell and Diaroge with 3. Very good players. The Holt boys amongst it too, and the better players with Luke Holt the best on the ground. Turner okay on the Witcherproof side. They struggled though with just Bateson and Daniel Allen and Horbury all booting 2 goals for the afternoon. Having a look at the next one, Sea Lake Nandali 31-19 to Charlton 1-1. Well, how the Navy Blues have fallen, but what about this performance by the Tigers? It must have sent shivers even up your spine seeing such a massive win by them.
Yeah, it certainly did. When they read the 4 games from around the grounds out after our match over at Bort, everyone sort of went a bit quiet when Sea Lakes and Charlton's scoreline got read out, which is not surprising at all. They've got a very well drilled team, and Coach Donnan up there would have been chomping at the bit to get a win on the scorecards for 2022.
He was. Billy McGuinness with a big 8, and Justin Ellis, he booted 6. They shared him around with Trent Donnan, the absolute star of the old Mallee Football League, the veteran with 4, and Simpson with 3. Young Tom Cox is a real good player too with a couple, and then just Riley Thies scoring for the Charlton boys, and Bailey Kemp good for Charlton, along with Patrick Saint and Austin Mertz, very good footballer this fellow, and Trent Donnan, of course, that he has been a good footballer for at least the 10 years that I can recall covering this football area. Having a look now at this week's matches, or should go to the last match, Donald, 16-11 to Sonata 2-7. Again, you might have even thought when you heard that score that was sending shockwaves, because Donald has started the season very well.
Yeah, Donald have also had a pretty good off-season from all reports down there. They've regained a few of their local players, which is always good to hear around the rural communities, that they're bringing back in some good young talent in Brody Haddo, and I think it's Tex Pearce and a young Griffiths boy after their short stint over at Warwick, the Warwick Eagles, and obviously some old foes that are always pretty dangerous with the surname Young down there. So yeah, I can only assume that they're cracking along pretty well by the scoreline.
They are. Grant with 3 and Ross Young, you made mention of him, the veteran, with 3. They got a good player in Jordan Bath. He plays the footy very, very well. Brody Haddo, you mentioned him, also one of the better players on the ground, along with Cody Brooks and Josh Potter. They're going to be good. Curtis Tawney, Jacob Tillig, and also Mitch Egan, some of the usual suspects there for the St Arnaud Club. We've got round 3 action. It's Anzac weekend. It's a beauty. Witcherproof take on Sea Lake Nandali. They are a bit of rivals these days in this comp, since Sea Lake have come in. Down the road they come, those Tigers. I think they'd be a little bit too good for Witcherproof, I think, in this game.
Yeah, I definitely think that as well. I think that they'll be too strong over there at home, so...
Yeah, but they've got the big forward set up, haven't they, with McGuinness kicking goals. But Witcherproof of a very good hard trying side. They certainly, I don't think, will get the 30 goals to 1 of what we saw last week with Charlton against Sea Lake. But Charlton get their chance for their first win of the season at the Navy Blue Park, and they'll take on Bort. Bort also, likewise, get their first look. I think Bort might start slight favourite here in this game.
Yeah, I was quite impressed with them over there a couple of weeks ago, Wayne. They got some really good a good midfield that obviously balances well around the ball, and really good ruckman that they've recruited. So yeah, I'd assume that they'll they might be on the winners list this week over at Charlton.
It will be. What about Wedderburn at home? They have St Arnaud visiting. I'm going for the red and black. They should be a little bit too good for the young St Arnaud squad.
Yeah, I definitely think so. I haven't seen them or haven't played against Wedderburn this year, but I know that they're a great running football club down there, and at home they're very hard to beat.
They are. I'm going to keep the best to last, though. At the Bull Pit, it's the Birchip Watcham side taking on the old foe down there at Donald. They'll get to Litchfield, the visitors, and they'll know that they're in Bull territory. And Dale, it is a big one for you. It's centre half back. You've got to see the big forwards for Donald come out. What are you going to do to stop the flow down into the forward line for Donald? This promises to be one of the matches of the season.
Yeah, we always have a healthy rivalry, as most clubs do in leagues around the rural communities. But none more or less than Birchip and Donald, and we both like beating each other. So yeah, it'll be pretty excited, and people rolling into the grounds will hopefully see a good display of football. And for us in the defence, we'll be just really hoping that our midfielders can apply enough pressure to hold up the flow and the skillful players that they have coming through, that they're bolstered in their midfield from all reports. And his name was Riley Barrick. Yeah, he's second in where he's been a 43 VFL appearance.
Really talented player.
Yeah, we're just pretty excited to start well, and yes, it being an Anzac Day clash will add a little bit more to it.
Oh, wouldn't it be great? I'd love to be there to see it. Josh Potter takes on Dale Hinkley, the very good player that Potter is, gets the best centre-half back in the league. And William Sheehan at the other end, he is taking on James Wall. That clash will be worth it. Ross Young versus Sam Simmons in the middle of the ground and in the ruck. Lockie Surrett will take on big Shane Neves in the ruck, and then Jeski and Vendetti. That will be a good duel. Pye and Haddo in the followers. It's going to be a great game. I'm looking forward to the result coming through, and great to have Dale Hinkley, the star off centre half back for the Birchip Watcham Bulls, on the program with us today. We'll catch up with you next time, Dale.
No worries. Thanks for having me, Fly Man.